So let's move over to Grenache. Everybody knows that South Australia, Barossa Valley, and Shiraz are synonymous, but there's a treasure trove of Grenache there too. Super old vines, slightly different winemaking styles. Your 150-year-old vines for Yalumba, and then there's the McLarenville side of it. But I think it was one of the things that I found when I visited that I wish I could see more of here. And so tell us about that, why it's such a great option, not to supplant necessarily Shiraz, but as a world competitive wine.
Yeah. Well, we're really blessed and lucky in South Australia generally, particularly areas like Barossa Valley and McLarenville, where we've got the oldest Shiraz and Grenache in the world, vines in the world. They're pre-phylloxera because we've never had phylloxera in South Australia.
Let's try to keep it that way too.
Yeah. So and that's why when you fly in from anywhere around the world and you fly into an Australian airport, they'll just about want to fumigate you and ask you all these impersonal questions about where you've been and making sure you don't bring anything in, because and it's not just phylloxera, it's other viruses and other vine diseases as well.
Touching on that, you have a ton of flying winemakers from Australia, so do they just leave their shoes there? Do they? What's the process as you're leaving a winemaking area that you visited?
Well, my process is to, I get out the brush and I brush it off and I wash things, and any clothes that I've had, so I'm going to the Napa on my way back, any clothes that I'm wearing there will go into a plastic bag, and they'll get, hot washed when they get home before they, that's the first thing they'll do when they go straight into the washing machine. Okay. You get very used to it. And even going from vineyard to vineyard, within South Australia, we'll often go through footbaths, and you've done the same, I'm sure, when you were there. And there is phylloxera in Australia, in other states. So even within the country, we've got to be really careful. Okay. We're lucky with we've got a sort of a natural quarantine barrier as well, because Australia is such a dry continent that between the areas where grapes are grown, there's often some desert, long distances and fairly dry conditions. So even if a car has accidentally picked up some phylloxera somewhere, it's probably going to be dead by the time it gets there. It's not to say that, we do try not to take our cars around as well. With the increase in tourism, the increase in wine tourism, transport being easier to get from A to B much more quickly, it's a risk. It's an ongoing risk, and it's one that we're really careful to try and maintain, and so keeping everything
basically crossed. Visitors are off limits in the main vineyards, it sounds like, unless they've been through the foot bath or something like that.
Yes, they are, except that that's so much a part of the story. So in some ways we want people to come in and see how wonderful and beautiful they are as well. So there's a balance with all of those things, but to make everybody aware, to say to visitors, hey, if you've been in the Yarra Valley yesterday, could you make sure you've got a fresh change of clothes on today? Some of it's just a communication thing, and we're getting better at doing that